been giving you piece by piece of how my camera setup has been so far. And this upload, I really want to get more in detail on how I have things set up. So most recently, I've been working with B-roll, and surprisingly, it has made the quality of my YouTube uploads a lot better. Right now, I'm actually filming a B-roll part of this video, which is from my iPhone 6s. I have my tripod that's actually attached to my gimbal, and then I also have my microphone that is also attached to the iPhone 6s. The iPhone 6s also shoots in 4K. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually give you a glimpse of actually how I have this set up currently. The reason why I don't have the microphone attached to the Sony a6400 right now is simply because I'm using that to attach to the iPhone 6s so that I can make sure that the audio comes out the way that I expect it to. So a lot of the audio that I'm probably going to take is going to be from the iPhone 6s recording. So I'm just going to get around and I'm going to show you a little bit more on exactly what I'm recording. And you can see here the screen is cracked on an iPhone 6s, but that's not really damaging the quality of the video whatsoever. So this is actually pretty cool. Okay guys, so when I first started to create my IGTV videos, one of the first things that I purchased was a Joby tripod. And this thing is amazing. One of the main reasons why I like this is because of the grip. And you can actually see the grip on this now. Now, when it's extended, it probably is extended to a merely 6 feet, if that. Now, what I do have it attached to currently, as I mentioned earlier, is a Osmo device. And this is really great. This is one of the older versions, but honestly, it works just as well in my opinion. And it's great. So one of the things that I pretty much wanted to mention was the microphone setup that I have. Now, the setup that I currently have actually is a little bit different than how I would normally have this set up, but let me just explain. It's really cool. So this device that you currently see here, once it's focused, it says Joby on it. And I'm not sure if you can see that. It's pretty much upside down. It says Joby. Now, that device actually that is clamped on to the left hand side of the iPhone 6s from this perspective, it actually goes to the Joby device that you can actually see from the bottom here, okay? So this Joby device actually came with a few different parts to be able to actually hook it up to a phone, such as an iPhone. So I went maybe a year without actually using this piece because I just really didn't have a reason to use it, especially after I got my Sony a6400, if that makes sense. So when I purchased the microphone and I expected to use it with my camera, the Sony a6400, I forgot that I actually needed to buy a mounting piece for it. And then it dawned on me that I actually had some accessories that went with the Joby stick, and I knew that some of the accessories included a clamp, such as the one that I currently have now. Now, I'm not sure if you can see this actually small piece here, and I'm going to point to it very quickly. This here, that actually is for the microphone. This piece here is for the microphone that you would use if you had it set up without the Osmo gimbal device. So let's say I had this clamped on to an iPhone 6s the way it should be properly, not like how it is now. So it would actually look a lot different, if that makes sense. So the way I have it set up on my camera is I actually take this piece here and I actually clamp it onto my screen, the screen of my Sony a6400. Okay guys, so pretty much what I'm showing you right now is how I actually mount the Joby device to my camera. So on this screen that you can see here, what I actually do is I clamp the Joby device that is meant for an iPhone or a phone such as an Android device, and I'm going to actually show you that very quickly. Okay guys, so I'm going to show you pretty quickly how I clamp this on for the Sony a6400 that I have. So this is the portion where you charge, and you also import the mic for audio. So what I try to do is I try to get this part here that is meant for the microphone that I have. This is the portion that the microphone slides into. So I always make sure that this is parallel to where this is located on the camera. So I pretty much take this and I clamp it on like this, and it really doesn't affect the camera at all. It doesn't scratch it or anything like that. This has kind of like pretty much a placeholder on the back, and you tighten it. So I tighten it like that, and it stays on pretty well. I do admit that if you try to tug on it, it will slide off. Other than that, it does stay on. So I don't really, for the most part, don't need anything other than to be able to see myself when I'm using this. It does still push up as normal, and the mic slides in right here on the side, and then you put it in the audio jack. Okay, and something else that I wanted to show was this was actually shown in my last video about my camera equipment, which I will leave a link to now that you can actually see. And this actually is pretty cool because I can wrap this around things. Now, I'm going to be completely honest. My imaginary ideas of how I use this didn't end up being how I actually use this, if that makes sense. I purchased this to solely wrap this around things so that I can be able to get different perspectives. But in reality, it's not how I'm actually going to end up using it, because it's actually not really that stable. When you're wrapping this around certain objects, it's not that stable. So what I realized is that what's my biggest issue, especially when I'm recording videos? So I realized that my biggest issue was that I am unable to get angles from the floor. I'm always having angles that are always on top or pretty much in line into the height that I'm positioned at that time, if that makes sense. So pretty much, and I'll show you really quickly. So I'm attaching this to the camera. So actually what's happening now is me being able to adjust this. I can now adjust this in a way where I can actually now lay this pretty comfortably on like the floor and get an angle that I've never gotten before. I can take really cool pictures now with this. And you know, this is a game changer, especially for 2020, because you know, you definitely want to switch it up, and you want to be able to just have a different perspectives of videos and photos. I'm now just getting into B-roll, and I don't even know how I'm going to be able to incorporate that while I'm in the gym. While I'm in the gym, when I'm trying to record, I try to make sure that it's quick. Whereas when I'm doing, and that's mainly for when I'm doing IGTV videos, because I don't really need B-roll camera when I'm doing IGTV videos. They're not that long, so I don't really need it when I'm posting on that. So this is pretty much what I'm talking about, and this is pretty cool. And there's definitely a better way to be able to position this so that you can get a better angle, but this is good enough, especially for the example that I wanted to show. All of this comes together to make wonderful videos that I have been thankful to be able to create most recently. Now, the tripod that I actually have my Sony a6400 attached to right now is the new accessory that I've gotten most recently that is really cool. So it's amazing because I can now see really different new perspectives while I'm in the gym and I'm doing exercises. So the clip that I want to show you is me bench pressing a flat bench press, and I can really see how my form has improved over the few years or months and even weeks just being able to record myself in the gym.
For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't tryna grow, then it's done for you. For the record, lab on me going all the way. For the record, ain't tryna link, no time to waste. For the record, for the record, yeah. For the record, yeah. For the record, yeah. For the record, for the record.
Okay guys, so that is my setup for my camera equipment right now, and it's a lot for me because I am a single man trying to do this all, so it might not be a lot for other people, and it does take time. I'm getting used to it, and I'm getting a lot faster at editing. It doesn't mean that I'm not being patient and making sure that I'm not making this the best quality as possible and going in and checking for errors. I'll be the first one to tell you that you can probably watch a video 300 times and you may not catch something. So the audience may not catch it, but I can. So this is it for right now. I definitely will tune in with more content like this in the future. Guys, make sure that you hit the thumbs up button if you like what you're hearing and seeing, and subscribe. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.